Hey everybody, it's Mike. Welcome to what is likely to be a very expensive disaster. I am biting off more than I can chew, and some other cliches, and making myself and my family a new coffee table that is likely beyond my capabilities. But you never get better at stuff if you don't do stuff that you don't know you can do sometimes, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I've got a pile of really nice looking African mahogany that I found when I went looking for walnut. It was half the price and just beautiful. So I'm going in that direction instead. I was picturing my coffee table being a little darker than this. But I think it'll be, if it all comes together as it is in my mind, I think it'll be nice and functional and pretty. And if it all falls apart, you can all laugh alongside me. Let's get started. I'm gonna start by taking my nice big pile of African mahogany down off the shelf. All right, here we go. That's not African mahogany, that's walnut. That's also walnut. Alright, you don't need to watch me take it all down off the shelf. Alright, so, got my lumber down. I've been sorting through it. I found 3 pieces that I like the look of when they go together to make the top that actually makes up the whole 23-ish inch width of the top. It's nice grain matchy situation going on. And these are about 60 inches long, all of them. So my 43-inch top is actually going to net me the short rail stretchers as well when I make the top and bottom. This design that I came up with is kind of inspired by a Marc Spagnuolo project that he did. It's a sofa table with a floating top, and he calls it the exploded sofa table. Because it's held together by little pins, and it looks like if you took a table and exploded all of the parts in like a drawing. But this is not going to be quite that far, but it is going to use the floating top idea that he had in his sofa table. So I need a panel for the top and a panel for the shelf, the bottom shelf, whatever that part is called on a coffee table. So let's get cross-cutting these. I'm going to pull the cross-cut sled down and we'll get going. Alright, now I'm going to do that some more times, but I'm not going to make you watch all of it, because that'd be boring. I'll come back when I'm doing another step. So now that I get the sides and the top cut to rough length, I couldn't get 3 boards wide enough to make the shelf, so I grabbed a 4th. I'm going to rip some off of it, but that's fine. It's underneath. I don't think anybody's going to look under there and be like, oh, you had to use 4 for the bottom shelf. That's unlikely. So now we're just going to take all that over to the jointer and edge joint them, so I can start gluing up a couple of panels and get those things into the house and start drying so that I can get back working on the rest of it. Let's make some panels. You guys sit there for a second. guys probably do not need to see me do this to all of these boards. So I'm going to do that to the rest of these boards. And I'll come back. You guys go get a coffee or something. I need a coffee. I'm going to go get a coffee too. Let's all go get a coffee. Alright, so now I got it all milled-ish. Just going to clean up the other edge, parallelism and whatnot, and then I can probably, I'll check it first and make sure it's all going to fit together nice, but should be ready for glue up. We'll see. Alright, hopefully those will be some nice tight joints. Back in a minute. Probably. Alright, so I got my table saw covered in, what is it called? Newsprint. I got my clamps out. I've done a dry fit and all the seams look like they're going to slide together okay. I got my board's marked 4, 3, 2, and you can probably guess what the last one is. This off a little bit. Now let's get some glue on this. And I can put it aside and start chopping up leg lengths. Because I don't have enough pipe clamps to do both my panels at the same time. So I'm going to do one. I'm going to put it aside inside. Start cutting up leg lengths while this is drying. And then we'll do the second one. Second one's the same as the first. I'm probably not going to show it to you. Because that would be ridiculous. Get some glue. Let's get gluing. Got a little glue spreader. This is a official Betty Crocker glue spreader. Make sure you get lots of glue. No such thing as too much glue. You can clean it up later. This is not the time to be cheap with your glue. Glue is not expensive. Well, it's not cheap, but too much glue is not a thing. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of it will soak in. The whole point of the glue is to bond the fibers together. You want it to sink in on both pieces and fuse them. Fuse the pieces together. So I'm told. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Not much through here. This is a little gap here. But overall, I'm relatively happy with that. And what? I've got maybe like a 64th pie here. I'll just scrape that down later. It'll be flat enough. Alright, so we're going to work on the legs. I found 2 boards that are more than 6 inches wide by a little bit. So what I'm going to do, and they're long enough to get, they're 60 inches and the legs are 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just rough, so you get the idea, right down the middle here on both of them. I'm going to cut them a little bit oversized. We'll call it, and clip the ends off them, lose the white paint. And we're going to go to 19-ish, 19 and a quarter, something like that. Like that. Same with this one. More like that. Just rough marks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one leg out of each half of these. So I'm going to call this left front 1, left front 2, left front 3, left rear 1, left rear 2, left rear 3, right front 1, I'm confusing myself, right front 2, right front 3, right rear 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so what I've done, I got my sled back on the table. I clamped a stop block over here at 19 inches. So I'm just going to clean the paint off the end. Bing, bing, bing. And we should have all of our bits, and then we'll rip them down the middle, glue them up, and we'll clean them up to the proper dimensions after they're all set. So. Got it. That is why I use a table saw sled, because that is a little bit bowed on this side. Blew the breaker. Woo! Safety. Shut saw off. Turn breaker on. That's a little scary when that happens. So, the lesson is cut with the bow facing the other way. Because if it's bowed like that, then that blade, when it tries to finish that cut, that board is going to want to collapse on itself. And that's bad. Alright, so we got one side jointed so it'll ride smooth along the fence. Let's set this to just a little bit over 3 inches because I want to have some material to get rid of in phase 2 of milling. Go 3 1/4, 3 1/8, 3 and somewhere in between there. And we'll just start ripping leg lengths. That doesn't look like it's going to make it through a second pass. Close enough. Where's my push stick? There's my push stick. Alright, I'll glue them up into chunks. I'll be back. Alright, so the left side board is actually in a little bit rough shape on the underside of it. So I just got to pass it over the jointer a couple of times just so I can get these blanks nice and good solid glue up. The right side ones are actually good. So, jointer again. You guys don't need to see the jointer again. Just letting you know I'm doing that. You don't need to see the jointer again. Glue. Alright, where's my Betty Crocker spreader? There. This is the Betty Crocker glue spreader is great because for fat glue like this, you can use the double side, the fatter side. See? That's why Betty Crocker made this glue spreader. Good work, Betty Crocker. Beauty. One down, 3 to go. You guys want to see all of these? Probably not. It's the same 4 times. See you back here in a bit. Alright, so I think I got about an hour left until the sun gets too much in the shop for me to keep working. It'll just get too hot. So I have taken the offcuts, some of the offcuts from my shelf blew up part of the process, and I've decided that I can still today probably cut the blanks for the rails. What are they actually called? Stretchers, I think, on a table. So that's what these are going to be, the small ones. I need 4 of those, and then I need 4 at 37 inches. So I think I can get that done today, and then I will call it and move on to tomorrow. Yes. All right. So I've actually got little MDF templates made. I made those yesterday in preparation for today, and I'm basically just giving it a little bit of extra room over the width of my template, and I'm gonna cut these down, and then I'm gonna grab 4 from the remaining full length stock to do the long ones. Yeah. I should mention, because attention to detail and whatnot, I picked the offcuts that have sort of as much of a curve kind of grain pattern as I could get, because I think that'll go nice on the little curve of the stretcher, even if it's not exactly the same curve. I think the lines will be better if I do it like that. So that's why I have chosen these 4 specific ones. There we go. 4 blanks for the short stretchers. I'm not going to make you watch me cut the long ones, because you probably don't want to. Okay, that's it. The sun is come around. I'm still wearing these, and it's gonna get way too hot in here. I'm already sweating, and I think that was a productive day. What did I get done? I got a lot done. I got the bottom shelf panel glued up. It's still in clamps, but it probably doesn't need to be anymore. I got my leg blanks cut up and glued together. I got stretchers cut times 8. 4 long ones, 4 short ones. I got my templates finished. I started them last night. I just refined the curves a little bit today. I didn't bother showing that because you'll see what the curves are when I put them on the actual wood. And tomorrow I'm going to start by jointing and gluing up the top. I'm going to dig into my first ever mortises. I'm enjoying a shop beer now, by the way. First ever mortises. I'm going to use my router to cut floating mortise and tenon joinery in all my stuff. If I get all the way through that, I may have time tomorrow, depending on what time I get up and out here, because it's, what, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and it's starting to get super hot. Yeah, so I'm going to dig into cutting mortises, cutting tenons, and clean up these leg blanks, obviously, because I have to put mortises in them. Yeah. Day 1, success. I got a long ways into this. I'm happy. And I've got a pretty significant amount of mahogany left for maybe another project. Maybe I'll make an end table to go with this coffee table if this one turns out. Anyway, signing off for now. I'll see you tomorrow. But I won't actually see you tomorrow because I'll see you in virtual tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.